The suspect accused of a deadly ambush on police in South Carolina bragged about his shooting skills online, but we still don't know why 3 sheriff's deputies and 4 police officers were shot on Wednesday while they were attempting to serve a search warrant at the suspect's home. Sergeant Terrence Caraway of the Florence Police Department was killed. David Beganud is in Florence, which is about 100 miles north of Charleston, with more on this story. David, good morning to you.
Hi, Gayle. You know what's interesting this morning? The alleged shooter in this case still hasn't been charged with a crime. Now, he's in custody, and officials say there's no threat to the public, but he still hasn't been formally charged yet. The 3 deputies who were the first to be shot were all women. They are still in the hospital this morning. And Gayle just mentioned Sergeant Caraway. He was remembered last night at a community vigil. Friends and colleagues say Sergeant Terrence Caraway dedicated himself to the community of Florence. Just last month, the Air Force veteran was honored for more than 30 years of service to the city's police department.
He was a giant of a man, but he was the proverbial gentle giant. And I loved him.
According to a senior law enforcement official, the shooter is Frederick Hopkins. He's a 74-year-old Vietnam veteran and disbarred attorney who described himself on social media as a competitive marksman. Shots were fired at 4 p.m. Wednesday. Sheriff's deputies were attempting to enter this home with a search warrant because a 27-year-old man inside is the subject of a child sex assault investigation, according to a senior law enforcement official.
Have an officer down at this time.
The Greenville News reports that Hopkins was perched on the 2nd story with a high-powered rifle that gave him a direct line of sight down the street as backup officers approached the home. Some of the officers who were shot were 15 yards away. Take, for example, Sergeant Caraway. That's his vehicle down the street, white police car, probably 15 or so yards from the suspect's house, which is at the end of the street. Sergeant Caraway, we're told, was shot right near his vehicle. Florence Police Chief Alan Heidler estimates it took about 30 minutes to be able to get in to rescue the wounded officers using an armored truck.
It's my understanding right now that they didn't know the level of firepower that they were going into.
So the crimes happened in Florence County, but the Richland County Sheriff's Department, probably an hour down the road, was asked to take over the investigation. John, this is interesting. The sheriff was asked yesterday, did the family at the end of the way where the shooting happened, were they given a heads up that those female deputies were coming to search the home? The sheriff answered the question this way: I don't know all the facts, and I can't say right now. We're going to keep pushing to find out if, in fact, that happened.
And you'll be right back telling us. Thank you, David.